Okay, this is a heads up sit and go I played today. Take a look at it. It's low stakes, just £1. This is me down here. So we start off with 1500. I'm on the button with ace-5 offsuit. I min raise, he calls. The flop is deuce-9 deuce, 2 clubs. He checks, I min bet, and he folds. Pretty sure when he checked he didn't have anything. Okay, the next hand I have an ace again, ace-3 offsuit. This time I'm at the big blind. He min raises, and I just decide to shove. Seems like a loose player. I think I played him before. And he folds. I take it down. Next hand I have 8-3 offsuit. I'm on the button, and I just go ahead and fold. Very trashy hand, easy fold. Okay, next hand I have 5-9 offsuit. Also a pretty trashy hand, but it reminds me of that Dolly Parton song, so I like to play it sometimes. I'm at the button, I got position. I go ahead and call, and he just checks. And I flop middle pair. Don't think he has a king. I 4x bet, and he folds. Insta folds. Next hand, I have ace-10 offsuit. Best hand so far. I'm in the big blind, and this time he does not min raise. He just folds it. Okay, next hand I have king-6 offsuit. I get king-6 a lot, probably more than any other king kicker card or hand. I do good with it sometimes I don't. But here I flop top pair. Okay, the board pairs on the turn. He min bets, I min raise, and he 3 bets to 110. I go ahead and call. I just don't think he has a 7. And he doesn't. I think he had like 310. And I didn't bet the river because like he's pretty loose. I figured if I had bet for value, he might just shove even with 3s and 7s. Next hand, I have 10-8 offsuit. I get this hand a lot too, it seems like. I'm in the big blind, and he min raises, and I insta fold. I don't like that hand. Next hand, I got 4 deuce from the button. Easy fold. I'm up by 180 at this point. Next hand, I get ace-king offsuit, the best hand so far, first real premium hand. But I decided not to raise pre-flop because I didn't want to give away my strength. I mean, I almost always do. I usually don't mind giving away my strength with ace-king, but I was hoping for another one of those situations, like when I had king-6 and the flop is all undercards. I check, he checks, turn is a 3, another rag. And then I make my king on the river. I was just hoping he might have one of these cards. So I bet 240. I figured if he had just any of those, he might have just called that, but he folds instead. So I win a very small pot with ace king, pair of kings, and an ace kicker. So that was a little unfortunate. Next hand, I have jack 7. I'm just going to fold it. Don't like jacks, especially with a weak kicker. Okay, the next hand, I have queen deuce suited. Still not a highly regarded hand, but he's going to min raise, and I'm going to go ahead and call because I know he's loose. And they're suited. Queen deuce offsuit, I might have just folded. Flop is no hearts. 5, 9, 10. Okay, I make a pair of twos on the turn, but he leads out with 50. I'm guessing he probably has a flush draw. I didn't want to risk him making his flush, or would have been, even if he didn't make his flush, it'd probably be pretty easy for him to beat me on the river if he connects with it. Next hand, I got king, queen, good hand. I'm going to raise by 4x, and he's going to fold. And I'm not going to like bluff too much with him because he's so loose. I know I'm just going to wait for good hands. I got 10-5 offsuit. He's in the button. He just folds it, so I get to take it down with a trashy hand, which is good. Next hand, 3-8 offsuit, easy fold. Next hand, I get ace-9 suited. Pretty good hand. I'm in the big blind. He's going to min raise, and I'm going to re-raise to 180, and he's just going to fold. So at this point, I know he's pretty loose. He's just min raising almost anything. Not quite everything. He has folded a couple times, but okay. Next hand, I got queen 5 offsuit, and I'm just going to go fold it. I want a decent pot last hand, so when I get like a kind of a weak overcard with a weak kicker the next hand after winning a pot, from the button, I just like to fold usually. Okay, next hand I get pocket deuces, a pair of ducks, and I don't value this hand as much as most people. I just want to take it down, steal his big blind, so I bet 160 and he folds instantly. I did not want to see a flop with that hand. Okay, next hand's pretty good. I got 7 queen offsuit, a little better than queen deuce, so when he min raises, I go ahead and call. And I'm going to flop top pair, the 2 and a 3, and he leads out with 50, and I just go ahead and shove. I figured he probably connected. He has a 2 or a 3, and I didn't want to risk him getting trips or 2 pair. It's pretty confident I was ahead, so I would have been okay if he called, but I figured I'd just play it safe. Add 70 chips to my stack. It's good enough with queen 7. Next hand, I have pocket 10s from the button. It's a pretty good hand, but I think I just min raise. I'm actually, I actually don't want to scare him off, but I actually end up losing this hand, but not very much. So the flop is 3 ace queen. He has like queen 7, I think, what I had last hand. Obviously that ace, probably because I raised pre-flop, he's afraid I might have an ace. Deuce comes up on the turn. The board pairs with another 2 on the river. So I just min bet, and he just calls, obviously afraid I might have an ace or 2. So he wins a few of his chips back from me, that hand. Okay, the next hand, I have ace 8 offsuit. I think he just folds to me. Yeah. I think we're getting pretty close to the end. Next hand, I have king 8 offsuit. Decent hand, heads up. So when he min raises, I go ahead and call. And the flop is going to be 10 for Jack, rainbow again. He leads out with 50. I figure he has a piece of it. I don't want to hope for a king on the turn. I'll just go ahead and fold it. It's only 40 pre-flop. So next hand, I got 10, 6 offsuit. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold. I'm up by 260 at this point. Slowly getting him to deplete his stack. Okay, this is the last hand. I had suited connectors, 6-7 of diamonds, and we both ended up flopping trips. And he was actually ahead of me on the flop, but then I turned a full house. Yeah, when that 6 first came up, I didn't even realize at first I had a full house at that point. So on the flop, there are 2 7s. Well, first pre-flop, he mid raises. I go ahead and call. If he'd made a bigger bet, I probably might have folded. But I I make trips on the flop. I decide to slow play him. So I check. He min raises to 40. Then the turn, I make a full house. So he bet 80. I raised to 160. He went to 420, and then I shoved, figuring he had an ace, maybe. But as it turned out, he had Jack 7. Look at it one more time. So he min raises as usual with Jack 7. Pretty stupid. You just folded. That's 40 on the flop. I just try to slow play him, thinking I'm ahead. I check again on the turn. He bets 4x. I raise. He 3 bets to 420. I shove. He calls, of course, with his trips, not knowing that I have a boat. I mean, he could still won with the Jack on the river, and if a 6 or an ace came up on the river, it would have been a chop. So that's that. Pretty short game there. I was ahead the whole time. I guess the cards went my way for the most part.